Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and a Head-Banging Life, and it's They Made What into a TV series as we're continuing Starship Troopers, no Roughnecks Chronicles. Is that it?
Yep.
Roughnecks Chronicles, that is it, yeah, absolutely. As we're looking at campaign 2, the Hydora campaign. Hydora, because it's got O-R-A.
Yeah.
Of course, this is 5 episodes in one, similar to the Pluto campaign, where we're just going to talk it through. As we said during the Pluto campaign, and we reiterated here, this is a difficult show to talk about, because a lot of the time, not a lot happens, in the sense that what you get is lots of shooting bugs, lots of shooting bugs. And I think I said during the Pluto campaign that while it was a strong start, it's a show that gets better as it goes on. Unfortunately, this is not the one.
Yeah.
Hydora is arguably the worst, I think, up there.
Yeah.
For plot development and characters.
I mean, like I said at the beginning, the first, probably first 3 seasons, it's more about killing bugs and shooting. Further down, there's a bit more in depth, like talking and story-wise.
See, I don't want to jump ahead because, of course, it's a separate video. But when we get to the top of the campaign, which is the 3rd one, I think that's where the show finally finds its feet and gets really, really good. But for now, we are doing Hydora. And if you're wondering, hey, that name, is that a play on water, Hydra?
Yep.
You are correct. We are off to a water planet. We're off Pluto, following the events at the end with the bug spaceship thingy leaving Pluto and being tracked. We begin with our crew getting some R&R as they attempt to follow the massive transport bug that took off from Pluto in the previous episode. They're struggling to find it, but Gossard thinks he knows why. Gossard has calculated where the bugs might be heading, and he is proved right. So yeah, we need to get there, get it done. The Roughnecks are sent to monitor Hydora to see if it's the bug's home planet. And Hydora is mostly a water planet. So yeah, we should say now, if you're following along with these videos from Pluto through Hydora onwards, basically every campaign is themed.
Yeah.
We did tell you this on Pluto, but this is the water levels.
Yeah, the water
this is the water temple.
Yeah.
As they are going to be dropped onto the planet, the release lock jams. The ignition is still going to happen though, and if they can't get loose, they will die. So tension. But happily, Gossard is able to manually release the lock before the thrusters ignite and they take off safely. Part of me was sitting there going, yeah, okay, they're all about to die in the opening 5 minutes of this episode. Totally convincing.
I have to give it a little bit of scare tactics.
I don't mind. I don't really mind. Nothing about this show offends me or bothers me. Nothing. It's very plain, coy, sometimes interesting.
Yep.
I like it. It's simply as that. It's a nostalgia thing, while also as an adult now enjoying it for different reasons. Yeah. We see the bug transport landing on Hydora, where it plunges into the water just before coming around on a land mass. The Roughnecks aren't far behind, but Higgins can't swim because, of course, he can't fucking swim. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, man.
Can't do anything.
Hey, what is the point of Higgins? The Roughnecks are dropped from their ship, riding jet skis, and monitor the bug ship from a distance. Razak splits up, and they see bugs leaving their ship. So, here we are. We're deep into this episode already. One of the group, which is Rico, Carl and Higgins, attempts to get closer but are attacked by flying bugs and forced to retreat, especially as these bugs now spit barbs. Yeah. So introduction of a new style of bug. Oh, the flying bugs were in Pluto.
Yeah.
These spit barbs, and I thought it was a nice touch because it seems to almost create, like when it hits, acid. Yeah. They end up backing into the bug ship where the entry then closes on them. They're trapped inside and able to contact the others. And I was excited here. I was like, hey, this is a new thing. Yeah. Got some Gears of War 2 vibes here.
Definitely, yeah.
Outside, the bug ship begins to move and Higgins accidentally fires inside. Carl notes that it did no damage. He is then shaken by some sort of contact being made in his head, and they are forced to go deeper inside. So this, I think, Hydora is notable for one particular thing, which is the story around Carl.
Yes.
It's something that will be further pursued in Toffit, the campaign that follows, but we're getting started here. Razak and his group are being pursued by bugs across the water, and they see the bug ship beginning to take off, and you're like, oh shit, the others are inside. Interesting.
Yep.
Gossard and Doc are able to contact Razak about what happened to the others, while Brrraains and Dizzy take care of some other bugs. Dizzy makes a mistake though and ends up crashing her ski. She activates the life vest on her suit, but is trapped on a small rock with no weapon as bugs approach. Brrraains arrives though and is able to pick her up. Yeah, a little bit of action, a little bit of maybe someone's going to die. As if. Razak activates a jetpack now and flies off to save Gossard and Doc. I was a bit like, fucking hell, jetpacks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, obviously it's far advanced into the future, so obviously they're...
Of course. Yeah, I've got no problem with that. Of course, I've got no problem with this. It's a sci-fi show.
Yeah,
absolutely. Meanwhile, the trio inside the bug ship are still trying to find a way out. And they come across part of the bug that suggests it is refueling. Thought that was an interesting touch. And they realise, oh shit, it looks like it's almost full. We probably need to be more urgent. Razak tries to save Gossard and Brrraains, but the weight forces them to crash as they come under attack by the bugs. So the weight of them on the jetpack drags them down. Inside the bug, Rico comes up with the idea of leaving via its butt. Basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to drop off something. Cause an explosion, and hopefully the force should see them shot out. And it does work. I liked it.
Yeah.
The trio escape and float to the top of the water to see the bug ship take off. They're then picked up by Brrraains and Dizzy, and the group coming to the aid of Razak, Doc, and Gossard as they run out of ammo. Here they realise this ain't the bug's home planet, but Carl reveals that the bugs spoke to him and told him that they want to exterminate the human race. Dun dun dun. Is it though? No, I thought it was a statement, because up to this point you could argue it's just been skirmish battles, never really understand home planet stuff. Now it's like no, they're planning to spread planting the planet to destroy you.
Yeah, I suppose because
that's harsher.
Because obviously in the film, obviously this is obviously completely different segments.
You cannot complain.
No, of course not. So obviously in the film, obviously they know that they're trying to exterminate them.
Yeah, because that's how it starts,
the
actual war. But then never forget that the bugs are already known to exist beforehand, and they have had issues with them in the past. Yep. So you could argue that this is part and parcel of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's episode 1. So-so episode. Gets things started on Hydora. Introduction to the new kind of equipment we're going to be seeing, and some of the new bugs. To be honest, you're going to get sick as we go on hearing about jet skis and falling in water and shooting bugs. A lot of it is this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I said before, this campaign's not the best one. But as you said again, that this is more about developing Carl.
It is. That is the important part. Yeah. We will get to more of that as we go on. In the next episode, Higgins' voiceover reveals that their attempt to stop the bugs' takeover of Hydora was failing. And it's already been a month of combat, and casualties are heavy. They're struggling on this planet, which makes sense, really.
Yeah.
Carmen is piloting a ship to come and remove some troops, but upon entering the atmosphere, they are attacked. Carmen is able to evade them successfully, though, and there's an interesting shot here of a bug attempting to remove a fallen comrade from the battlefield. Yeah. That really got me. In fact, I wrote it down in my notes, was like, oh, look at that, bug's pulling one of its fallen comrades away.
Exactly.
And it's a layer where you're like, huh. So they've got more thought process.
It shows that they're not just bloody mindless drones.
Yeah, and they might actually give a shit about each other. Carmen lands, helps get the wounded aboard, but there's no more room for her, so she stays behind for the next ship. Carmen is left with Zebra's squad, who are getting their ass kicked. The Roughnecks pick up the call for help, though, trace the signal, and head off. Lots of shooting and bug killing in this episode. It's a heavy one for that.
Yeah.
The Roughnecks land nearby, but can't raise Zebra on the radio. Zebra's squad's last survivors are forced into a cave, where they come under further attack. They are managing to defend themselves, but the numbers are too great and they run deeper into the cave. Eventually they are cornered and surrounded, but the Roughnecks arrive to help. Whoop whoop. Once rescued, everyone has some bants. Rico, Carmen, chat. Dizzy is not impressed. You're still doing that whole thing that Rico and Carmen like each other and Dizzy is jealous.
Love triangle.
Kind of, except there's not really that much love going on.
Exactly.
Dizzy enjoys breaking up their chat as Carmen has a call from Fleet. Carmen is told that she will have a disciplinary because she abandoned her ship and to stay with the Roughnecks. Fair? Military rules are military rules.
I agree with you.
Razor, because presumably, like, the whole point of having two pilots, if one pilot gets in trouble, the other takes over. Yeah. Razek then gives them new orders to hunt some kind of new flying bug which is preventing ships from landing. The team split up and are ordered to find and destroy the new bugs. In the caves, we see that the bugs are able to create water shields that obscure the troopers' visibility. Thought that was a interesting touch.
Yeah, I mean...
Convenient more, and it's only in this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get that whole bit.
Yeah. Rika goes all heroic, though, climbing up and killing the bugs from below.
Trying to impress and Carmen.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's knocked off and hurt by one last bug, though, causing a rock slide that gets Dizzy trapped under one. She is saved from bug death by Carmen, and the rest are able to get her out from the rock, and she is obviously well not happy about Rika's behaviour. Damn right.
Yeah, of course.
Before I can get too much into it, we've gone like 30 seconds. The other group are then attacked by a swarm of flying bugs and are able to force them topside where they're killed by waiting troopers. The Roughnecks and Zebra Squad are ordered to come to the surface to help mop up the bugs. Dizzy then has a go at Rico for his behaviour. Outside, it all seems quiet as the Roughnecks find their ships and Carmen takes the pilot's seat. As they move off though, guess what? They're attacked by bugs. I know. I was shocked. During the fight, Rico was knocked out of the boat, and he almost crashed, but Carmen is able to direct the ship away from the rocks. Rico is sinking, having been knocked out. His life vest activates and he floats to the top to be rescued. The group get to an escape ship, and Carmen leaves, having been told by Razak and the leader of Zebra Squad that they will back her so she doesn't get disciplined. She and Rico talk about getting dinner at some point in the future. And that's it.
Yep.
That's the episode. Yeah.
Not a lot happens in that episode, but it sort of builds
What?
Rico and Carmen sort of like...
On off, I guess, yeah.
Sort of extends that a little, because obviously things obviously improve eventually, but it sort of builds that.
Okay, I'll agree with you. I'll give you that. I think as an episode, the underlying theme is it's to highlight Rico's interest in Carmen and the fact that he can be a bit, what would you call it, cowboyish.
Yeah, a bit
arrogant and dangerous when it comes to her. That he put Dizzy at risk, and she arguably Dizzy's more important to him, should be more important to him, and she's part of the Roughnecks.
Other than that, again,
it's a nothing episode.
Shows a bit of Razor's, I don't know, power, I suppose. A bit of his, I don't know, he's got a lot of say in the command.
I guess so. His word will go a long way. But what I do think is interesting is it's nice to see another squad.
Yes.
It's nice to focus on another squad, because obviously it's called Roughnecks and we are following them, but you don't often... It always seems like the Roughnecks are the ones told to do something.
Yeah, they always get given the main campaign.
Yeah. So it is nice to see someone else. Other than that, it's a nothing episode.
Yeah.
Lots of shooting bugs. I didn't really get the fact that they were like, oh yeah, you got to take out a new kind of bug. They're flying ones. I'm like, but they were in the other episode.
Yeah.
And you almost wonder, did you have these the wrong way around? Like elements from this were originally supposed to be in the first? Mm-hmm. Because you're talking about new bugs, yet we already saw them in the previous episode.
Yep.
I don't get that at all. But it is only episode 2, so we're going to get a bit deeper into it. Behind enemy lines, this is where the Roughnecks are in this episode. The Kamikaze Ripplers, as they're known.
Yep.
AKA the flying bugs, outnumber the MI 75-1. So they're now on the lookout for the source. Eggs. I'm like, okay, cool. Happy with this. We have a goal. We have an aim. And what do we all know? If they're eggs, what's laying them?
Has to be a queen.
Absolutely. En route, though, they're attacked, but manage to fend off the bugs. Razor concludes that the attacks are getting more intense because they might be near a nest. The unit is split up to find it, and while exploring, come under attack again. It's not helping that their engine is in trouble after it's hit by a barb, so you've got that touch. Lots of shooting, lots of dead bugs, but Carl is hit in the stomach by one of the barbs. It causes some corrosive damage to his suit and he is injured. The acid is burning Carl, but Bruto orders Rico to continue fighting. I like this scene here.
Yeah.
Rico wants to stop to help Carl, and Bruto's like, you fucking shoot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're all going to be like Carl.
Yeah.
Bruto's right.
Yeah, bit damn right.
The bugs give up seemingly, and Bruto is able to call Doc to come look at Carl. Doc wants to break radio silence that Razak had ordered, but Carl isn't in a critical state, so Bruto refuses, much to Rico's displeasure. Not sure I agree with that. I'm pretty sure Razak would want to know if one of the squad was hurt.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Rico's ordered to drive the boat while Bruto checks in at Carl. Again, they're attacked, but by a lone bug. It flies off, returning with a lot more. Didn't really get that.
Yeah.
Like, why is it there alone, then it flies off and comes back more?
Yeah. I mean, is it a scout?
We'll just bring more straight away.
Yeah.
The group are heading into tighter confines as Doc deals with some stragglers and creates a plasma wall to stop the others following. We see one fly through it, and it kind of burns up, crashing into Doc.
I like the whole plasma wall thing.
Yeah. Doc is then forced to climb aboard the boat, which is now drifting towards a big pit. To make matters worse, because of the damage by the bugs, the engine has stopped working. So to stop the boat going over, they use their hook shots to drill into the wall to hold it in place. But basically it means their guns are out of use because they're using the hook shot or part of the gun.
Yep.
As the plasma wall fails. I like this. This is tense because you've got that whirlpool hole, no engine, bugs, like you're in trouble.
Yep.
Doc ends up attached to a bug. He shoots his and accidentally hits a bug, which was quite funny, and is dragged around while a boat goes over the edge. He gets free, falls in two, and emerges with the others in an underground cave that turns out to be a nest. Yeah.
Yep.
We knew we were going to get to one eventually,
Yeah,
so here we are. Razak then arrives from a different entrance and rescues them from the water. He is mad that Brrraains didn't call him. Called it. It doesn't matter, as the group see all the eggs coming out of the water. It's a nest with millions, and the plan is to destroy them all. I do like the shot of the scale. Yep. It does look like a lot. It looks good. Some of the eggs begin to hatch, and the adults come starting to protect their kids, basically. The Roughnecks manage to defend themselves, but not without Brrraains getting in trouble, resulting in Rico having to dive in the water to save him. Razak tells the Roughnecks to set charges to try and destroy the entire cave. They have 3 minutes to escape, but end up running into the mother. They manage to escape her initial attack, but she follows them with more leading the attack. The bomb goes off just as they escape the cave, destroying everything inside, and we then see that it was just one nest of many. Strong. I like this. Yeah. I'm happy with this because as an episode goes, it develops the story. It suggests, okay, eggs being created because this is how bugs are replenishing their numbers. Yep. But it also suggests Hydora is probably unwinnable. Yep. Because how are you going to be able to do this? Look at where his nest was.
I wasn't sure that there's more than one queen too.
Yeah, that's interesting as well. Like, there's more than one. Well, yeah, they're not wouldn't call it a queen, would you? Just call it a fucking mother, like the one that's birthing. Because the queen is top of the. Really, doesn't really work that way, does it? Here, but it's a strong episode where the action fits because every piece of action leads to consequences that further the story. So I ended up enjoying this one a bit more. Put it this way, when I think of it, I can picture a lot on my head. Yep. We continue. The Roughnecks have arrived back at week 5 of the campaign. Tempers are running short after a long period of fighting. The Roughnecks have been given 24 hours of R&R. I like this. Yep. When you're constantly in battle, tempers are going to get short. Mm-hmm. You do need a break. Mm-hmm. And I was actually like, we're going to get an episode where they're just chilling out in the Valley Forge. I can live with that. Yep. That would have been interesting. It's not the case. Nope. Dizzy wants to party, but no one wants to do anything but sleep, eat, and shower. Higgins is game though, and Dizzy and him go off to party. I did like that scene. Yeah. We then see a different squad on Hydora dealing with bugs. They reach a point where the bugs just leave them alone, confusing the troopers. They land as the leader tries to call for assistance, and he is told that evac is already en route as a different squad. Call for help from the same spot a while ago, though there is no other squad in sight. Ooh. But I liked it. It's mysterious. I'm like, interesting. He goes back to his crew and finds them all missing. He sends a mayday call, but before he can finish, he stops transmitting. And I was like, that's almost horror movie-like.
Yeah, really cool,
I liked it. I already knew what it is because I know the Starship Troopers world that this exists in. But I felt it was very horror movie-like and very tension-building. I enjoyed it.
Definitely. Again,
really like the fact that it show other squads.
Yes.
Yeah, really cool.
Well, I mean, as I said at the beginning of the thing, that they've been there for a month now.
Yeah.
Over a month. So literally, it's getting into more detail now.
Yeah, absolutely. Razak arrives, comes and gives the Roughnecks some shit about their performance, and then sends them for training on the VR deck. So no R&R. You've been sucking out there in the battlefield. Maybe it's because they never get a break. If you don't get a break, your performance will suffer, Razak. Dizzy is game, but Rico insults her by suggesting she should act normal. She shouts at him, but they're interrupted by a call to report for duty. Fuck Rico here. The shit he gives Dizzy. Like normal.
He's such a dickhead to her, man.
He really is. He really is. Of course, the Roughnecks are being sent to investigate the missing squads, but Rico and Dizzy continue their row, getting the attention of Razak. They're back in Hydora, searching the area, and they find an ID plate for one of the missing squads. Bugs arrive as they search the area, because of course, admittedly, it's probably the longest we've gone in a while in an episode without a fight with bugs.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Dizzy takes a risk that frustrates Rico, and it backfires, resulting in her falling into the water and Rico being surrounded by bugs. He's forced to drive off to deal with them from a distance. The others get in the bother too. Gossard is grabbed by one, but Brutus saves him. Rico arrives to regroup with the others and report that Dizzy has been grabbed, and they all head off to where Dizzy was last seen. Technically, could argue Rico left her behind.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
Just putting it out there. Carl tries to find her using his mind and gets a reading of all the missing troops on the other side of a waterfall. So, of course, they go in. They come to a narrow tunnel and are forced to walk. A problem for Gossard, whose leg is hurting from his attack. Deeper in, more bugs. You know how this goes. Even deeper in, Carl leads the way into a really tight space. The floor is slippery, though, and Gossard falls over, knocking into the rest of the squad and sending them tumbling down a tunnel. They find themselves in a very busy bug cave, so they're in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
They create a circle and start dealing with the bugs, but Rico is grabbed by a bug and dragged away from the rest. He does come up with the idea of using their shock sticks in the water to kill all the bugs, which works. So they have these shock sticks, they stick them in the water, and obviously the electrical current is enough to kill bugs, but their suits insulate them from it. So yeah, I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Deeper in they go, realising that they're inside the bug's hive. They find the troopers encased in some sort of sacks. It's all gone very alien.
Yeah.
All still alive, including Dizzy. It's time to get out as the bugs are coming, but once again the shock sticks prove to be invaluable. At least until they stop working. So they actually make the point of sort of saying, like, these shock sticks weren't designed to be used in water.
Yep.
So, like, it was good for a bit, but they're going to stop working.
Well, no, truth, yeah.
Yeah. So it's grenades and bombs. As they go to leave, Rico and Dizzy are knocked off their ride, and Rico has to save her as she's too hurt to do it on her own. The others have gotten out, and Razak calls for help, but notices Rico and Dizzy are not behind them. Carl checks and says they're still alive. Rico and Dizzy have managed to get back on their ride and come bursting out as the others come in. Everyone quickly turns around and manage to get away before the bomb goes off. En route back to Fleet, Rico tries to be nice to Dizzy, but she prefers him the other way. She's like, oh, I don't like you being nice to me.
Yeah.
The Roughnecks are given 2 more R&R days, but Razak has other ideas and forces them to train in VR sims. This is an episode that promises a lot, but actually ends up more of a setup for the last episode.
Yeah. I mean, again, it develops a lot of characters between Rico and Dizzy.
A little bit, Damon, a little bit. I wouldn't go too far with that.
It shows that obviously that he does care for her.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know if it's feelings. Obviously, we find that out later on. But it also develops a bit more of Carl's powers. Obviously, the fact that he's more.
I think he's become a MacGuffin at this point, and I get why they had to do something about it, because basically it's like, what do we do? Oh, here's Carl to tell us what we can do.
Yep.
Are they still alive? Yes. It's like several times in this episode he's used,
yep.
and it's been like, it's a bit too easy now.
Yeah.
You know, so I know maybe that was kind of the point. They were like, let's show him using his powers and the advancement of it.
Yeah, because obviously it's developing towards the last episode.
Yeah, which we'll get into now. We might as well just finish this one off. The campaign is coming to an end, and as Higgins says, everyone is sick of water, which he would be. They've been there for 4 months, so a long one. And we begin this episode with more battles against the bugs and continued assaults on the bugs' nests. The Roughnecks run into trouble as the ground gives way under Rico and he falls into a deep cave, followed by Razak falling in after him. The rest come down on ropes, but before any decision can be made, an unknown trooper comes staggering out of the darkness asking for help. Razak knows him and queries where his squad is, but he doesn't remember and starts to get upset. He identifies himself as Ross of Delta Squad. So similar to what we've been saying all along, I was like, sweet,
yep.
We're going to focus on another squad. Like it.
Yep.
Yeah. The Roughnecks take him back to Fleet, where he is established he's suffering from PTSD. And where is his squad? In the mess hall, Carla's deep in thought and Rico notices. Carlos isn't unhappy about the fact that he's going to be asked to go into Ross's head. He is worried about unlocking his memories and then getting trapped there. Detail, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah. He's called to sickbay, unsurprisingly, and asked to go into Ross's mind. He obviously agrees because it's an order, effectively. We then see that Ross and his squad dropping under Hydora and entering a cave. I like the POV.
Yeah.
We switched to a POV from Ross, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a different look for the show.
Yeah.
Carl runs into a block, though, and he's told to push through it regardless of the damage it might do to Ross. So Carl is worried about doing this, and it might cause some mental damage to him, but they're insisting we need to do this, find out what happened to the squad.
Yeah.
They're both kind of right.
Yeah, they're both right, yeah.
Yeah. We then see the Razak telling the rest of the Roughnecks to gear up as they're going to solve the mystery. Carl is taken aside by Fleet Commander to continue with Ross. The rest of the Roughnecks on Hydora are about to go into the same cave that Delta apparently did. Of course, shortly after entering, it's bugs! We see Carl is still going on Ross's mind and unearthing a bug attack that causes him to scream aloud. We see that Delta was captured by bugs and he has a bad reaction, knocking Carl off him. The Roughnecks have beaten back the bugs and call it in, and Carl is told to take a break on the Valley Forge. The Roughnecks split up and go down 2 different tunnels. Carl can't stop thinking about Ross though, so goes back to continue his work. We then see that Ross and his squad were taken to a brain bug. Yeah. The brain bug killed his squad. I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah. We actually see people dying here. Not gory or violent or anything, but people dying. And it's enough to scare Carl to shout to get the Roughnecks out now. They've gone deep though and are grabbed by bugs coming out of the waterfalls. Carl insists that he can find them, but he needs to go down to Hydora. He's given permission as the Roughnecks are taken to the brain bug chamber. The other group of Roughnecks are brought in from their end, having been captured. The brain bug arrives, and it looks like Rico is up first for the old brain sucking. Ain't gonna get much from this guy.
The old straw.
Yeah.
Reminds me, I don't know if you've seen them Read the War for the Sirens as well.
Of course. Carla's arrived outside the cave with a handful of troopers. Pluto manages to break free and create a distraction while Razak uses a laser on his metal arm to shoot the brain bug. It doesn't do much damage and he gets his arm ripped off, which I thought was an interesting touch, as Bruto is brought back in, having been captured. It looks to be over for Rico when an explosion stops everything. Great timing. Carl arrives with some plasma cannons and starts shooting the place up. I mean, his arrival is quite badass though.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just any ordinary trooper wasn't psychic, I would have hated the scene. But because he's psychic, he knows where they are. Yeah. So I like the scene.
Yeah, because if it had been an old trooper, it's like,
how'd you find them? How'd you get there?
Yeah, agreed. The Roughnecks take the opportunity to escape, even though Rico is actually grabbed by the brain as like a hostage. Carl continues to shoot at the place, but it all starts when Carl says the brain is talking to him in his head. He talks to the bug, and things get out of hand as he tries to fry their brains. Carl has had enough though and approaches using his own psychic powers to make it explode from the inside. I do like this, the battle of brains. It's quite powerful. Carl's sort of like, Urgh.
Yeah, it's like they're both having an argument because obviously he's threatening Rico and he's like trying to stop it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. The cave begins to collapse. Dizzy grabs Rico and everyone evacuates. Outside, the brain's death has driven the rest of the bugs crazy and they're attacking each other. I thought that was a great idea. That's how you deal with the issue in Hydora. Make it our leader's gone and now we're just like out of control. The Roughnecks leave the planet and we see Carl being checked on. Rico and Dizzy come in and Carl seems to be okay and Ross is sent to Earth to recover. Carl tells them that the brain bug sent a message. There are lots of them, controlling planets all over the galaxy. This war is not ending anytime soon. And we end with Carl's nose beginning to bleed as the campaign comes to a close. Very strong episode.
Well, I mean, this is what sends Carl on his downward spiral.
Well, this is the start of a process, but it's a good story. It's a good angle that I find quite interesting. I'm like, okay, because psychic abilities, you've been using them to such an extent, now they're beginning to have an effect on your mentality. We also develop the bug aspect of things as well by having brain bugs on every planet. You're like, okay, shit's getting dangerous. I like this final episode. Yeah, definitely. I really, really did. It's just, Hydora overall is basically... alright episode, good episode, alright episode, alright episode, good episode.
Yeah.
And that's not great for a campaign overall.
No.
Like, when I remember this campaign, before rewatching it, all I was like, I remember water, I remember flying, and I remember the brain. And that was about it.
Yep.
Like, and that is kind of it.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what other stories, character-wise, get developed in here. Do Gossard, Doc, Bruto, nothing.
Mainly, as I said, this is mainly a Carl
Higgins?
episode.
Razak?
Nope.
The little bit we get with Rico and Dizzy and Carmen? Small bits?
Minor, but this is mainly a development by Carl.
But not to begin with.
No.
Only as it goes on.
Near the end, yeah.
But when we've got this many characters with 5 episodes, why are you focusing all on one? You can focus on more than one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So while this one is disappointing, I think,
Yep.
it's about to get really good.
Yes.
What do you think of that Hydora campaign? You know what to do. Hit us up in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl as well as Big Cartel where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal, what else is life for?